So how to bring in a whole folder, like the folder that I just showed us now, that's Append. If I want to bring all three files together as a folder, how do we do that? Okay, so if we go into new source, okay, and there is option to bring in a folder, but that is under more. So if we go into more, and we can see here, it says folder. And if I click on folder and then connect, and it will bring that box. Let's see what that box is. It's asking us for the folder path, that what folder are you trying to get? So you can copy the path and paste it here, or you can browse it. It depends on what you prefer to do. Let's try and see if we can do the two. So because the folder is in desktop, I'll look for it under my desktop, and it's the append task.
You've passed it, it's up.
Is it? Okay. Okay, thank you. There we go. So I'll click on it and okay that. And we can see, okay, that's the file path and it's copied it. And I'm just going to okay that. And here it comes. It brings it in this format. With these are the three files within that folder. We can see they all .csv. That is, they are all comma separated files, and we've got all of this, you know. And down here is asking me, do I want to combine and transform the data, or do I just want to transform data? And it's good to play around with the two options to see what each one means. Because I know that the three folders have the same structure, that is, they are exactly in the same format. What I have as column 1 is the same as column 1 for the Liverpool, as well as for the Manchester, you know, so they are matching like that. I wish I would have just opened them before we brought them in here. So because I know that's the case, and I don't mind combining them, I would go for combine and transform. Okay, so I'm telling it, combine all of them and transform. Let's click on that option. Okay, and here we go. Combine files, specify the settings for each file. One can click on there to learn more about that. Sample file, the first file. If we click on the drop down, you know, the first one is the leads, we can see, and this is all of them. You know, you might want to click on, well, there's no reason to click on either one. Just the first file option is okay for there, and we can see what we have there. You know, if you wanted to skip files with errors, you can click on that. That might lead to loss of some of the data. So I wouldn't really use that option. And it's just telling us the type of data set we have. The delimiter, that is what's separating them, is comma. Data type detection. So it's just brought us what we can see is based on what the first 200 rows look like, you know, the file origin, all of those information. And then if we click OK, let's OK that and see what we get. Okay. And so here it's the query just down here. If you can see my cursor, is the last one here that calls it append task, the name of the folder, you know. And immediately we brought it in, it's gone on to do a few steps. It's performed a few operations on its own. It's done what it feels is necessary to do, you know. So, and one can come here and look through. If there is anything you don't agree with, you can always remove, but you have to remove carefully. you know, understand what you are removing and why you are removing any step, and what that removal is all about, and understand that it may break whatever is here. So one has to be very careful in removing steps, is what I just wanted to explain there. And if we look at, you know, look through each of these, we can see. So I see Leeds, I see Liverpool. I can't see Manchester. There should be 3. But it's told us here that the list may be incomplete, so we can load more. So if I click on load more, it brings Manchester as well. So that tells me I've got all 3 files in there, and that's fine. Source name is named it according to the source, the names, you know, of each file. You can always change that if that's not what you want. And then name. So obviously it's combined names from all 3, for all 3, and we can always load more if we want to see more. And the dates, you know, for each of the files. I see null here. Let me load more and we check out what that null is about. If it's about how the files were combined, and if we need to do anything about that. So that tells me that it's Liverpool that doesn't have dates, you know. So I can always go back to my source file to validate that actually from the file that we used to bring all these in, Liverpool doesn't have dates. You know, if that's what I have in the file inside my folder, you know, here, then that's fine. But if I've got date here, and if I've got dates from the files, you know, from the append one here, and that is telling me no dates, then there's trouble. So let's actually, you know, check and be sure. It says Liverpool. Does Liverpool have dates? Okay. Okay, so there's dates. Is there any of them that's null? Let's see. Okay, there's no null here. So that tells me that something is wrong with the way I've combined that file, you know, and this is where I recheck, you know, so name, description, date, and amount. I recheck each folder to be sure that actually, do they all have, are they all, you know, aligned the same way? Why am I getting null in one and there's no null from the source file? You know, so this is time for some investigative work to do. So I'm going to need to close that so that it doesn't disturb the one in Power BI. And I'm going to undo the change that I made there. So date is a third, and then amount. So name, description, date, and amount. Let's check the others as well. Oh, this is just class attendance. I shouldn't be showing that. Okay. Let's check leads. Aha, you see, this is what we're talking. I think date was number 3 in leads. Am I right?
Yes.
Aha. So, okay. Okay, I'm actually happy that this is happening. You see, so when we don't have, when we are combining files and their structure is not exactly the same, then we'll get nulls because it can't combine, it doesn't want to combine dates with category. You get what I mean? If number 2 from leads is saying that's column number 2 is saying category, and column number 2 from leads is saying dates. So Power BI, our Power Query starts to struggle now with which is which. And that is why, you know, we've got 4 columns, but here we've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. So there's been a mismatch, you know, somewhere there. and there's needs to go back and start from the scratch. Start from scratch, not from scratch. Start from scratch. I'm always, using that boy a lot. So sorry. So there's need to start from scratch. I'm going to unfilter that. At least we know there's a problem there. If we look through amount, there would be nulls. If not, then it would be category that's got. Okay, it can't load everything. I can't see any null here, although it's saying the limit of 1,000 has been reached. So maybe it's category that's got the null, the remaining, yeah. So date and category have been misaligned somewhere along there, and there's trouble. So this shows the importance of the fact that it's good to combine files if their data structure is actually exactly the same. If I had brought them in as individual files, it would have been so easy to just drag each column to the same number on the number of columns. That's not exactly good English, but I could just easily have dragged dates to align everywhere, name to align everywhere. You get what I'm saying? On each of the files, then append them accordingly, So today's task is a lot about if we try to append files that are not exactly aligned the same, what happens? This is what we get. We get nulls because some of them are not. So because on one of the files, we've gone on to combine category with date, and that's not possible. Date and category are not the same type of data. So it's decided to null some on date column and null the other ones where they are not aligned on the category column. Okay, so let's do what is right now. Let's do the right thing very, very quickly. I'm going to delete this, right? Let me see if I can do this in 5 minutes or less. So if we go back and I'm still going to use the folder option. This time, I want us to go and copy our folder path. Before we clicked here and we browsed and got the folder in. But that's not the only way. We can always come here, and copy the folder path. So if I just right click on here on the, yeah, I've right clicked on append task and I'm saying copy it as path. So I've copied the file path. I can come here and paste it. So that's another thing that we can do. At the moment it's not happy because there's this quotation marks around which we can remove. Okay, so now it's okay. And we can just okay that. So rather than combine and transform that was done before, how about we transform the data and we are not combining, this time around. We just want to transform the data. Okay, is this possible? It's still going to give us the same sort of, yeah, it's still going to give us the same. So the best option, rather than bringing them, because if I just go on to open, it's just going to combine them again like that, and then we get the same result. So when your file is in this, is in this type of situation, don't combine, bring them in as individual files, align all of them, that is drag the way you want your whole data to be. If this is the format you want, name, date, claimed, amount, category, ensure that you drag each of the columns where it's not aligned for each file, go into each file and drag and get this for each and every one of the files. Get this. So we have name, we have date, we have amount, we have category. So that when you combine all of them, date is aligned to date, name is aligned to name, amount is aligned to amount, category is aligned to category. That way, we won't be getting some data loss, because that's what happened with our previous work. Some data were lost from date and some were lost from category, because those two were misaligned, and they are going to be misaligned here as well now. So I'm not going to continue with that. But yes, do we have any questions? Let me